Good day, guys. T90 here. So today, before we start off, this is Elgin's videos. There's also information I've grabbed from Hongongo-chan out there. So do note of that, cause some things Elgin was not able to mention, some things she was able to mention, but or shown at least, some things she was able to show. Before we start off, I just want to say I'm doing this video for my opinion based only. This is based on my opinion. It is not meant to harm, insult, or offend anybody out there, okay? Nobody is supposed to be offended here. If you feel like I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Seriously, like, our opinions will never match sometimes, okay? Some of us will agree, some of us won't agree. So before we start off, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you agree with me. And also do the same thing if you don't agree with me. Comment down below though if you agree or not. That would be helpful. So let's start off what Elgin says, shall we? So I'll be using Elgin's videos for a reason of I do not have any access to the advanced server. Don't worry, I've asked opinions from one of his crew members already or his friends. They said fine, so I'm doing this. I will not show Hongongo-chan's video here since for the reason of I didn't ask permission from hers, but I did get some information. So yeah, let's start off what he says, shall we?
It will now deal damage to nearby enemies just like this. The extra damage can be useful during team fights, right? And if the skill hits an enemy hero, his passive will grant more energy points. That's 50 energy points whenever you activate the passive. Moving on, another new feature is the movement speed buff. He will now gain 80% movement speed whenever he uses his ultimate. This should make chasing enemies easier, especially if he combines it with his second skill.
Okay, let's start to analyze it. Small explosion. Okay, I guess it's fine. For heroes out there, squishy heroes, this can do a lot of damage. Not only squishy heroes. If you're fighting in the early game, this might actually also help you out against stanky heroes. If you're still in the early game, that is, and you are on your lane and you're kinda losing actually. So, okay buff. 80 movement speed buff. Okay, that's also good. 80 plus 40%, that's equal 120% movement speed buff. So you could just chase people around, like, you're faster than Zero at that point. If you are able to place your second skill, by then it's just 80%. But I'm not sure if you guys know this out there though. He does not gain a part of the video. Elgin does not gain Magnus energy. He's just standing there, he ain't gaining it. They have removed completely the Magnus energy regen on just standing still. And I want to point out that how bad that becomes actually. Without any minions to attack, for example, no minions to attack, it becomes meh. You know? You don't gain it. It's just another Masha at that point. Worse than Masha, I'm afraid, because Masha gains her ult back. August does not. He has to wait a whole 30 seconds, or in this case, 36 seconds. You'll see later what I mean by 36 seconds. But moving aside from that, hit and run tactics are starting to become useless out there. You see? That, like, hit and run tactic, you have to add the passive there. You have to add the passive attack. Like basic attack. With your Warmonger passive. Like first, second, passive, run away. That's the normal combo for August out there. That truly becomes just terrible. Like you don't gain any Magnus energy from just standing around. Well, might as well remove August's left hand then, or right hand then. Because without that passive, he becomes completely useless, you know? He still gains it if he attacks things. Yes, that's a given. But If he does not, he becomes useless, okay? Especially in the early game. We all know out there, we've all seen at least one August monster out there where they are so good, so strong with fighting everybody. They could go 1 versus 5 and still survive at least a few seconds before going down. But by then, they take down two enemy heroes out there. We've seen that happen before. And it's certainly still a thing out there if the August does not get delayed. Okay? You delay August, he's done for. That's where the hit and run tactic comes in. If you are a August user out there, you cannot beat an enemy hero. Yuzong, Kangid, Gu. What other heroes out there that can beat August on a one-on-one fight in the early game? Teresa is also out there. He can win against August depending on the user, of course. It always depends on the user out there. But if they win against you and you can't beat them, you can't do nothing except hit and run tactic. Your warmonger is needed in that tactic. By then you cannot drain the HP, you cannot lose some HP, they cannot lose the HP, you cannot make them go home. The point is making them go home for you have a clear shot of killing minions. Without warmonger in that, you ain't gonna do enough damage. Your second skill doesn't do much damage in the truth though. It does damage, yes, but it doesn't do the best of damage. Your warmonger does more damage than your second skill does. It's a combo at that point. So without it, it just becomes meh, you know? Tactic becomes meh. I'm not sure if most of you guys agree with me on that part, but if you do, please do tell me, like I said. Anyway, let's continue on what he says, shall we?
If you get hit with a damage that can kill you, you will become immune to that and will also gain another boost of movement speed. With this feature, the duration of his ultimate can extend for up to 8 seconds. However, you don't really have any control over this because it will depend on the enemy's damage. But before you say this is overpowered, there are some things that were changed. First one is the longer cooldown, from 36 to 30 seconds on official server, to now 46 to 38 seconds at advanced server. That's an additional 8 seconds of cooldown at late game. Another feature that's removed is the permanent increase of Malice energy every second. So expect lower energy with this new Argus. Now let's try him out using these 3 items. This is his attack speed when combined with skill 2. And this is his chasing speed. Anyway, I tested his adjustments and here.
Okay, you've heard what he said. So basically he's saying CD reduction will be longer now. Instead of 30 seconds from the max level, it is now 36 seconds, which is the worst part of this. Well, one of the worst parts. No, they are all bad. They are all bad nerfs. They are worst nerfs I've seen out there. But this is certainly bad for August. Before we get to that, let's just analyze what all the buffs and debuffs. Okay, before I end this off. Buffs out there. There's only 3 buffs. The speed buff, number 1, that is very, very useful actually. The speed buff is useful for chasing down or running away from, like, you gain 80%, you're chasing someone, you hit them with your meteoric sword, gives them a curse, you stay on a trail, you gain another 40%, going up to 120% movement speed buff. Second is the explosion buff. That one is a little situational in the tutorial. It will be great against squishy heroes like mages, assassins, and marksmans. But when it comes to tanky heroes, that won't do much. So it will certainly be a situational buff, sort of say. Especially it does also count as a lifesteal, you know. Fourth, the ult. The maximum ult timer is not 1 to 8, it's 3 to 8. You see, why 3 to 8? Because if you have 1 HP out there, 1 HP, then you ult, you only have 3 seconds of immortal state. So once 3 seconds pass by, you're nothing. You're just a pile of body on the ground waiting to respawn as usual. Anyway, that's all the buffs out of here. Now let's talk about the nerfs, shall we? Number one, I've certainly saw. This isn't the worst thing. This isn't the best thing. It's just in the average, you know. I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but looking by his video, Elgin's video, we could see that August seems to take longer to cast his ult. You know, it's not like the official one where he just taps the skill and he's ulted. But this one, he actually looks like it takes much longer on a casting one. It could just be me. But I'm putting that as number one. It could, like I said, it could just be me. But once again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that part. Okay, don't take me up on that offer. The second one will be another type of different thing. It'll be his removal of his Magnus energy regen. Yeah, that thing is the most hurtful one out of all of them. Magnus energy regen is the most useful thing ever out there. Removing that is just so painful for many August users out there. The only way for you to gain Magnus energy is hitting a minion, a monster, or a hero. You know, only those three. Which leads me to number 3. Split pushing nerf. It is not implied, but it is a nerf. And if the efficiency of nerfing here on his split pushing capability is absolutely tremendous. Like, you cannot gain Magnus energy attacking turrets, you know? You can only gain it upon attacking minions. So, practically, attacking turrets with split pushing, it's very not efficient as much as it used to be then. Why? Well, if you are losing, and why is it important to split push? Well, if you are losing to a fight, you can't win them. Like, you will not be able to always win a fight, right? Especially not the game. You only have a chance to split push. So your only way is to split push. So without gaining Magnus energy in Legion, that's very, very bad, you know? Next thing is the tactics. We all know August users out there love to do hit and run tactics. Especially if they can't beat the enemy. Like Khalid, Yuzong, the Rizlas out there, Dinots out there. We all know those are very hard opponents to beat. Can be beaten, but hard to beat. It is based on your RNG and your skills by then. But the point is, the tactics will change. We all know that we all love that using the first skill, second skill, basic attack, and first skill again to run away tactic. It's just like the hit and run tactic. Like, just poke the enemy and run away. Or make them use the skill on you before they hit the minions if they are delaying you. So that's very, very bad, you know? Like, seriously, how bad that could be for most of us out there, especially us August users who can't beat the enemy. And also, that's not number 3, that's number 4. Fifth one, seeding reduction. Yeah, seeding reduction. Elgin already said it. Elgin already mentioned it. There's no way for me to say it in any other way. Longer seeding reduction is just bad, you know? Longer seeding reduction for August for his ult is just terrible, okay? Like, back then it was 1 minute. Now it's 30 seconds. Now they are slowly going back to the 1 minute mark, you know? I mean, I'm not saying they will, but they might, you know? So, besides that, let's go to the 6th one. Smaller immortality state. Yeah, we all know smaller immortality state. It's already been there. It's like 3 seconds only. 4 seconds back then. But 3 seconds now. It is just not worth it, you know. It is such an RNG based skill then. You gotta make sure. Like, it is also based on skill, yes, but it mostly relies on RNG depending on the damage of your opponent will do. It's not like back then where it is constantly 4 seconds. Like, seriously, that, like, I get it, they wanna increase his survivability, his strength, but this is not a proper way to actually make him stronger. You guys are making him an RNG based hero then. And let me tell you what, being RNG based is never a good thing, remember? Being RNG is not good at all. since you can't rely on luck every single time. And being lowering that immortal state by 1 second is enough for you to just get stunned by heroes over and over again. Not even over again. A choke can just use a whole set of skills on you. So by the time your immortal state goes out, you're gone. Like, you can't get a life steal, you can't get a single life steal, you can't even get a single hit. You're just gone. Sabers, another thing. Franco, Kaja, Valentina will also be another problem. Valentina can just copy you at that point as well, and if she has higher HP, you're just gone. Like, you're just done. You're just GG at that point. And she has better lifesteal than you will ever be, since she also has lifesteal of her own in that case. Well, sometimes, not always, you know? But yeah, being RNG based, especially on an August skill, is never gonna be a great thing. I mean, yes, everything is on RNG at the point of the game, but it's not that much of an RNG, you know? It's just at a certain amount, but not as high they've increased it on August. Next up, and has to be the final one, has to be the, I think I've already said it, being RNG based. Like, that's just bad. Like, I've separated it from the smaller immortal state, yes, but it's just bad. Being RNG based is just not good at any way possible. Anyway, that will be all for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, this is just me pointing out all the bad stuff. I'm not trying to fully analyze it, okay? But one thing's for sure, I'm gonna hate Moontoon if they ever do put this. Like, it's just not a good buff for me. Like, it's not good. The first one, movement speed buff, yes, that might be good. Why not just add that? Don't mind the other two. Just add that. I'll be happy. Cause August doesn't need the other two. August can survive just fine without the other two, actually. But if it's Moontoon, we all know they don't care. They don't care. They don't care how most players would feel. Especially how they manage it at the moment. They do give free skins a lot right now, but how they manage it at the moment, I kinda don't like it. Anyway, see you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye!